Welcome back to episode 37 of the Rants and Reviews podcast. Today we're talking all about our childhood favourites, the books we read as kids and fondly awe at whenever we talk about them. But before that, we have some exciting news. We have a new website. All of our episodes and show notes are now at rantsandreviewspod.blogspot.com. We don't have a snazzy domain yet, but we do have the rest of the snazzy affair. Take a gander in the archive and visit an episode you may have missed in season 2, or instead visit the About page and see what we actually look like in real life. If you don't follow us on social media, you may not know. So do us a favour and check out rantsandreviewspod.blogspot.com, and happy reading! What are you currently reading?
I have just picked up Thorn.
I saw
by, Intisar Kanani? Yeah. And it is a recent release this year. I think it came out in like April or something, May. But because of COVID, I only got it recently in the post. And it is a retelling of The Goose Girl, I believe, which is one of the Brothers Grimm fairy tales. And I'm not really familiar with that story.
No.
So I'm pretty sure that's right.
Is that similar to the story with the goose that lays the gold eggs, or the gold, or whatever it is? Is that
I don't know. I haven't done much research into it, but perhaps I should.
Sure.
Maybe I'll find some information and pop it in the show notes. But anyway, so I've only read like a couple of chapters, and so far it's okay. Like, I'm not gripped, but I'm not hating it. And this is, I just have to say this is a Hotkeys book, which is part of Bonnier Books, UK. Anyway, Hotkeys Books does this thing where they, on the back of the book, they do like themes, that what the themes are in the book, and they kind of do like this little spinny wheel thing, and they block out colors and stuff. So on the back of this one, the themes are betrayal, injustice, sorcery, geese. And I was like, okay, good. That's exactly what I need. That, like, strong themes and then geese. So I haven't got to the bit about the geese yet. So it could be really good or it could be bad. I don't know. But I've heard good things about it, and so far it's okay. And I don't know quite why it's called Thorn, if it's about a princess and, like, a goose.
Is it like...
I think she turns into the goose.
Yeah, like, is it like Sleeping Beauty, where she, like, pricks her finger on a thorn and then suddenly she becomes a goose?
And, well, I don't know. I will let you know when I finish.
I would like to know.
Yeah, me too. I'm intrigued. That's me. Just the one.
Okay. I'm reading just the one as well. I'm currently just reading a lot of just the ones.
Miracle.
And it's amazing how fast you can get through books when you're just reading one at a time.
Yeah, welcome to the world of, like, normal
reading.
Yeah.
I am currently reading The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins.
Ooh, a thriller.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Is it not a thriller?
I thought it was like going to be like a thriller. There was a girl on the train and now she's been murdered or something like that. And,
But
like,
it's not.
technically a train exists and a murder exists and a little bit of thrill exists. But it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, basically
seen
my
the
mum
movie?
borrowed it. No, I haven't. My mum borrowed
Okay.
it off her friend and then was like, do you want to read it before I give it back? And I'm like, sure. And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I should probably read this.
You should probably read it. It's not your book. You have to
It's
give
not
that
my
one
book.
back.
It's not even my mum's book. It's my mum's friend's book. So, but yeah, it was like a bestseller. It's like a really popular book. But I'm not. I'm like a fair chunk through. I've only got like 50 pages or so to go, and I'm not enjoying it.
Oh.
Like, I'm enjoying it enough to want to finish it, but not enough to, like... I'd probably give it 3 stars when I finish it, unless it's got a really good ending.
Yeah.
But it's a bit... The main character annoys me, and I don't know if she's, like, written to be annoying. Like, you know, those type of characters?
Yeah.
Or if it's just she's really annoying. But it's weird, and I think I remember complaining to you at the start when I was like, there's 2 different timelines, but it doesn't really point it out. It has the dates at the start of each chapter, But unless you're literally concentrating on those dates, you don't notice
you're
that
not
it's
gonna know.
like one of the storylines starts like here, and the other one starts like over here leading up to this time.
Ah.
So,
Weird. Okay.
Like, without
But
giving away too many spoilers, the main character starts here, and then this person who's been murdered isn't the main character. Spoiler, but not really a spoiler. But
Yeah.
it starts her story back here up until the murder.
Okay.
But they're all like being told at the same time, and it's really weird. And
See, I don't remember that. Was that in the movie? Because
I
I've
feel
seen
like
the movie.
that would be something they wouldn't put in the movie. I feel like they'd
Yeah.
just tell it properly.
And I think they just did it like a normal timeline. I might be wrong. I watched it a couple years ago, and it's not my like normal genre of movie, let alone book.
Oh, Emily Blunt is the girl on the train.
Yeah, she is.
Oh. Yeah. So
yeah, okay, weird.
I want to
And
know what
disappointing.
happens. So I want to finish it, but I'm not enthralled at all.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not surprised. Thrillers really aren't my thing, but if it's a good thriller, then it is my thing. But this is not a good thriller
Yeah,
for me anyway.
yeah. Well
Lots of
let
people
down.
are raved about it.
Yeah. Bummer.
I don't know what I'm going to read next, so we'll finish that and find out.
Yeah, I have like 4 possibilities.
I have like that too.
Or 5. Well, I have like all the books I haven't read yet, obviously, but in the like kind of immediate future, yeah, I got like 4 or 5.
My TBR
We'll
shelf
see how we go.
has like the same 4 books, and then I like add a new one on, and then I read that one. It's like just constantly like these 4 books.
totally.
It's like I really want to read you. Like Queen of Shadows is on that like thing. It's like I really
yes.
want to read you, but
Also,
all these other
books,
and you're really big, and yes, and
Yes.
yeah, and actually maybe going to try and finish off my vow to reread list, because I think I've only got one left, which is the Chamber of Secrets, and I need
That
to
is
start
so
that now
impressive.
because the illustrated version takes forever to read, so it's going to take me 6 months.
It does. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've reread any of mine this year, and I think my vow to read, I'm doing okay. I think I'm up to like 3 or 4, but not my reread, basically because I forgot about it. That's the whole story, pretty much. Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, I might get to some of them. Hopefully. Definitely Chamber of Secrets, though, because that's what I was trying to do. I was like, okay, I want to reread, but because of all the books, just reread one a year, and we'll just see how we go.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm really hoping that Order of the Phoenix, the illustrated one, comes out before I get to, like, that point, and, like, they keep coming out just before I get to that point.
Yeah.
But who knows, because they take forever. Understandably so, but...
They do. On with the episode?
Yep, on with it. On with the nostalgia.
Okay, so today we are talking about our childhood favorites. Have you listed your favorites, or just books that you really enjoyed, kind of under age about 14?
I want to say they're my favourites because they're really the only ones I remember reading.
Yeah.
Like, because when I was younger, I didn't really know about, like, popular books and stuff, so I would literally just go to the library and just pick up any random book that I liked.
Yeah.
So, like, that was when I was younger, so, yeah, pre 13. These are, like, probably up to about 12, 13.
Yeah, I'd say so are mine. But then some of them kind of extend beyond that, but they started when I was younger.
A few of them I have, like, reread as, like, my age now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we've picked 3 books, which also may be series each, and then we've got a bunch of shout-outs
Yep.
as well.
I don't know if I have any shout-outs, but that's fine.
Cool.
I will probably remember some as we're going through this. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will start with probably the best books of my childhood. and the ones I like immediately remembered and knew I was going to do for this episode was Jacqueline Wilson books.
Nice. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, also, apparently, she has 103 books.
I'm sorry, what?
I didn't know this.
103?
I went through her thing, and it was like counting them all. 103!
That's so... Wow.
That's not including her non-fiction books. That's all just fiction books.
See, and I thought Cassandra Clare wrote a lot of books, but that's insane.
That is a lot. And yeah, so I stopped reading at about 2007-ish. So there's been a fair amount of them since then.
Yeah.
But there was a fair amount before I was even born.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so there's
she's
a fair
been around
chunk
for
in the
ages,
middle
eh?
that I remember. Yeah, she's been around for so long. And I swear she looked so old when I was like young. Just because she had the grey hair. Like, I just automatically thought, oh, she must be really old.
Oh, really?
But I bet she's not. She's probably like, I don't know, in her 60s now.
This whole time that you've been talking about her, I've been trying to find her on Goodreads, but I just couldn't spell her name, and so I couldn't find her at all.
She is the only reason I know how to spell Jacqueline.
But I thought
she is 74 years old. So she's still got a good chunk of books in her.
Oh, she can make it to 200. Like, I believe in her.
Oh, I don't know about that. She's only got 103 at the moment.
Yeah, but she only needs 97 more. You know, maths. And her books are small as well.
Yeah, they're small, and I assume she's probably got a few already in the works, probably already done. They're just, like, you know, being sorted and published and stuff.
Wait, how old did you say she was?
74.
Oh, she's got heaps of time.
Yeah, it depends when she's going to die, but...
I know. But
let's not
even
talk about
if she
dying
had
on
10 more years, she could do it, I believe.
10 more years? She normally does, like, 1 or 2 a year, so that's, like, easily...
She just needs to crank it up a little, and, you know... It'll be fine.
I don't know about 200. I could give her 150 maybe.
Okay.
If she really stretches it out and like maybe got a typist to do it for her.
Yes.
So
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what were your favourite ones?
So my favourite ones, as when I was, because she kind of has two kind of age ranges. She has like the younger kids, which I think are around like 7, 8. I don't know. I really forget what kids' ages are these days. Like,
what is age? Who knows?
Like, are you mature at 9? I don't know. And then she has like the older ones, which deal with a bit more, you know, stressy stuff. So, like, my younger one, I really liked was Sleepovers.
Ah, yes. I don't think I read that one.
I didn't own it. I got it from the library, and I wanted to keep going back to it. Like, as I grew older, it was a really happy thing, just enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Even though the only thing I remember about it was that one kid wet the bed at a sleepover. Like they basically just like there was I think it was 5 girls, and they had like a sleepover at each other's house each weekend. Like,
I've seen a movie like that.
I feel like it's based on that.
Oh, really?
Like the movie is based on this book. I feel like it is. I feel like there is a movie. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then my like what the older ones I really enjoyed was Lola Rose and Love Lessons. I really don't know why I love Love Lessons, because it's like this 10-year-old kid being in love with her teacher and like having not 10-year-old, like 14-year-old still and like having a relationship with him. That's really creepy thinking about it now, but like I really enjoyed it as a kid. And then Lola Rose is actually probably still one of my like favorite books.
Nice.
And I don't really know why, but I just really enjoyed it, and that's the only one I will still read now and again.
Yeah.
At my age of old.
Of old.
At
my age of old.
I am no longer 14 anymore.
No.
But yeah, and I also remember I think it was year 4, one of the books we studied was The Suitcase Kid.
Oh,
which was one of her books. And that was it was really fun just studying a book that like from an author I already loved. It was it was like that my first, I think, probably my first enjoyment of actually studying a book in class.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Nice.
I guess we can't really say Jacqueline Wilson without talking about Tracy Beaker, because
Yeah.
I don't actually know if I've read the actual book Tracy Beaker.
Oh, really?
But I have watched every episode of the TV show because, you know, that was excellent and I loved it. And I actually watched some of the... I don't remember what it was called. I think it was called The Dumping Ground, which was like the series after where Tracy had like all grown up.
Oh, yeah.
I watched like a few episodes of that probably like 5-ish years ago, like way after it had come out and I'd already grown too old for it and stuff like that. But that was interesting. But I loved the TV show as a kid. It was good. It was the best thing.
So I thought I had read way more Jacqueline Wilson books than I have, according to my Goodreads. However, I don't think that's accurate because I've only listed 4 on Goodreads that I've read. Tracy Beaker, Double Act, Girls in Love, the first one, and The Illustrated Mum. And I only really remember Tracy Beaker and the Illustrated Mum one. I think there's a couple of others that I like remember, but I must have read Lola Rose as well. And there must be others that I've definitely read, but I haven't listed. I remember my neighbor had basically all the books that were out at the time and I borrowed them from her, but I'm just going by the Lottie Project. I remember reading that one. I have read that one. I'm just going to click this right now.
I think from this list, and I don't know if this is all of them, but it looks like a fair amount of them. I've read about 22.
Wow, that's pretty good out of 103.
Yeah, because I used to, I actually owned a lot of these.
Yeah.
I used to, when I got to the point where I could actually, like, you know, request proper things for Christmas and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
I would always get, like, the newest version out for Christmas type thing.
Nice.
Up until, like, my sister, I'm pretty sure I got my sister Jodie as a present, so that's 2008, so I must have been about 14, was my last one.
Yeah.
And then I grew out of it.
Yeah.
But I think I've read a couple after that. I've just, the like guilty pleasure type thing. You just want
yeah.
Want to get a little bit of that in here.
Totally.
But yeah, Lola Rose was my favourite, even though it's a weird storyline. Well, it's not weird. It's thinking about enjoying a storyline. This isn't one of them.
Yeah, I don't really remember it.
It's basically her mum wins the lottery, but not the lottery, but like a scratch card. But because her dad's really, really violent, they like run away and are forced to like live in a hotel. And then her mum gets cancer and her auntie comes to look after them. And there's some stuff with sharks and some stuff with scrapbooking. And
sounds like a wild ride, to be honest.
Yeah. So I can see why people would hate it, but I just really liked it.
Nice.
I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Enough about that. On to your first one.
Okay. So my first one is Holes by Louis Secha. We've been through this pronunciation before. I don't know. And I read this book for the first time when I was 12. And intermediate school, and it was like our book that we would read as a class, like the teacher would read it to us at the end of the day or at various points throughout the day. And I just remember like, absolutely loving the whole story. Like it was so cool. Like everything from like Stanley Yelnats, like his name being
a palindrome thing. Yeah.
A palindrome. Yeah. And the concept of like camp, is it Green Lakes? And like the whole
Green Lake, yeah.
Green Lakes? And the whole 2 storylines kind of being told at the same time and then like merging at the end. And I just remember being like 12 and sitting at my desk with my, my desk pod people and just like it all kind of clicking together and I'd be like, oh my gosh, you guys, that's this and this and this, and like whispering it to them and be like, oh, you guys, and they're like, what? And I'm like, no, it all makes sense. It's the onions and the other things in the boat and
sploosh.
I get excited about it. Sploosh! Oh my gosh. And it's one of those books that I really want to reread. I've probably reread it at least once or twice since reading it for the first time in school. But I really need to read it again. And I think they did a really good job on the movie as well.
Yeah.
And I think we've talked about this before as well with what's his face in it.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf, yeah. So yeah, I quite enjoyed the movie as well. But again, I've only seen it a couple of times and not for years and years.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to reread and rewatch at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved that. And I have read Small Steps.
Yes.
I think is the other one.
I think I've read that once, yeah.
And there's another one. I can't see it on my shelf, so I can't tell you. Yeah, so Small Steps follows one of the other characters from Camp Green Lake afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's not as good, hence why I can't really remember it. But Holes was excellent and I loved it. And thank you to my teacher for reading it to us.
That's it. Okay, I will move on to my next one. I feel like we just talked about Jacqueline Wilson for so long and I was like, is that it?
Yep, just short and sweet. Holes. Get on it.
Okay, my next one, I think, I can't place my age, but I think I must have been about 7 or 8.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
But it's the Miss Wiz series by Terence Blacker.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
I don't know if it's like that popular, but these were the only books I actually remember getting out of the library as a kid. Mm-hmm. Because I used to read them and like just basically beg my mum to take me back and go get the next one.
Yeah.
Because I loved it. And these were some of the books that I read when I was a kid. I used to do this summer reading challenge with my library.
Cool.
And you used to go in and get your stamps every time you read your book. And at the end you got like a little medal and it was so cute. And I can't remember how many books you meant to read. I assume it was probably like 10 little books, like something like that. But yeah, that's what it looks like.
Ah, is that Quentin Blake, the illustrator?
No, it's not. It's another version of the book had the. It looks similar.
Yeah,
no, Tony Ross.
Okay, very similar style to Quentin Blake.
Yeah, very similar style. But yeah, I just loved it because it was magic. She was a witch, and she taught a class at like primary school, and she had a pet rat, and it was just good. And like, I'm pretty sure I actually met the author at some point. I feel like he was at one of those like book roadshow things. Mm-hmm.
Like a Scholastics thing or something.
Yeah, like one of those. And I feel like he was there, and that's where I got like my first one.
Cool.
That was how I got like introduced to it. And then
was it a series?
Yes, yeah. So there was apparently 18 in the series, but I only read like 7, I think, looking through the titles that look vaguely familiar. I feel like I probably just grew out of them by the end, or he just didn't write them by the time I was old enough. I don't know.
Maybe.
Either way. I read a few of them and they were really good and I really enjoyed them, and it, magic.
Yeah. What's not to love?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really remember anything about what happened in them apart from the fact that she was a teacher for a primary school and she was magic and she had a rat.
Yeah. Those are the key points that you need to know.
Yes.
Well, I'm sold, so.
And they're already like that thin.
Yeah, like 20 pages.
Yeah, like they didn't take long at all. But they would have for like 7-year-old me.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, my next one is an entire series. However, the first one came out in about 99 or 98, I think. So, but I didn't read the first one until I was probably 11 or 12 again, and that is A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. And I can't remember how I got
those
into
existed.
Pardon?
I forgot those existed when I was making my list.
Yeah. You can put it in your shout out. That's fine.
Yeah.
So the first one, it came out in the late 90s, and I didn't read it until I was probably 12-ish, which would have been like 2001. I can't quite remember, but I think it was a friend who was reading it, and she was up to book 3 or 4, so they'd already been out a couple of years, and then I started reading it and kind of got hooked and read all of the ones that were out at the time, and then obviously the ones that kept coming out later than that. I can't remember when The End, which is book number 13, I can't remember when that came out, but I would have definitely been at least mid-teens by that stage.
I think it was about 2007.
Okay, so I would have been 16.
Wait, no, my memories are No.
Here, look. I'll just look it up. The Bad Beginning.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Don't trust my memory.
Okay, so The Bad Beginning came out in September 99. So I would have been 8. Yeah, so I wouldn't have read it then. Book 13. 2006. So I was 15.
Oh, close enough.
Yeah, you're real close. Yeah, so, okay, yeah. So, yeah, I probably read them as they came out then afterwards. But I never owned the series myself. I always borrowed them from friends or the library until I managed to, and I'm pretty sure I spoke about this before, I found the entire series, the hardcover series, at an op shop / thrift store in England. And I just picked up the whole thing off the shelf and took them all to the checkout. Excuse me. And they were only missing book number 4, I think. And so I had to buy that one separately. But it was amazing. It was the best 10 quid I ever spent for 13 books. Well, 12 books. Amazing. Yeah.
Great. That is one of my shout outs.
Yeah, there we go. And speaking of, because we talked about the movie version of Holes, the movie version of A Series of Unfortunate Events I didn't love. But
We've been through this.
But I really liked the TV show. And that's it. And you can go back and listen to our movie adaptations episode. That I think we talk about this a bit more.
I feel like maybe it was.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with that. And if it's not, then I'll
maybe
put it in the show notes as something different.
You should have listened to them all anyway.
My bad. Yeah. Okay, what's your next one?
My next one is technically it's a series, but sure, let's go for series. It's Animal Arc. By Lucy Daniels. Yeah?
Yeah.
And today I learnt that Lucy Daniels isn't a thing, and it's just a load of authors that write under the name Lucy Daniels.
No way.
Yes.
Huh.
And apparently they write in the front in the with thanks from type thing.
Yeah.
They write the actual author's name.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
no way.
You're blowing my mind. This has changed my
idea.
childhood. I thought this was a Lucy Daniels I was going to meet one day.
Oh my gosh. I have completely forgotten about that entire series until right now. And I've just looked it up. And oh my gosh, the nostalgia.
I know. Apparently there's 98 books in this series.
Jeepers. I think that's the key. That's what we've learned so far from this episode, is that it's best to be a children's author because then you can write just a bucket load of books.
Yeah.
And, that's amazing.
Oh, we could team up and become a new Lucy Daniels.
We could. Oh my goodness.
We could write twice as many books.
We could. Oh my goodness. We can overtake them.
So, technically there's 98, but I think I was reading through, I think I only read about 20-ish of them.
Yeah.
Only. And I actually owned all of these. I didn't get any from the library.
Nice.
But some of them I think were secondhand and stuff, but I did. I had a giant chunk of them. And I only recently, when my parents moved down here, I got rid of them because they were living at my parents'.
Oh, you got rid of them.
Yeah, I did. I donated them. And
I hope you made some child very happy.
it was heartbreaking, but I probably should have kept some for my future child.
You probably should have.
Future children, I don't know. But yeah, so that was a bit sad, but they didn't make it down here.
Sad.
And yeah, so they had holiday specials, they had spin-off series, they had all these things, and it's basically, if you've never heard of it, it's about this girl whose parents own a vet surgery, and her best friend basically get up to mischief and find all these poor animals and save them and heal them and stuff like that.
It's just as cute as it sounds.
It is adorable, and I think from memory, I can't really remember. I would be able to remember if I could see all the covers, but I couldn't be bothered Googling that much. But I think my favourites were Cats in a Caravan and Puppy in a Puddle.
Okay, good.
And I feel like there was another one, but I can't remember what it was.
Just looking at the covers right now, do you remember what country the books were set in?
They were mainly set in the UK, but the spin-off series, some of them were in Australia and some of them are in America.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because I'm looking at the covers and being like, oh, yep, that's like a fox and a cow and then a wombat and a kangaroo.
Yeah, that would have been
and I'm
one
like,
of the
wait a
Australian
minute.
spin-off.
What country are you set in? Like an otter, husky, and I like it how they do what we do and use alliteration for the titles.
Yeah.
Husky in a hut.
Great.
Otter in the outhouse, Tabby in the tub. So cute.
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, Cats in a Caravan was definitely one of my favourites. I remember that. I remember reading that a lot. Goose on the Loose.
Labrador in the Leaves. Oh my gosh, so cute.
Yeah. Wolf at the Window. I definitely read that one.
Okay, now we're definitely getting distracted. We'll post a link to this series.
Yeah, we'll put some video, some
so you guys can see.
I don't know.
Because man, they're cute. Oh man.
But yeah, that's probably my childhood summed up in two series of books was probably Animal Ark and Jacqueline Wilson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They basically summed up my bookshelves as I was a kid.
They're good books too.
As well as Harry Potter, of course,
but
but
not
we
talking about that.
we weren't allowed to pick
we're
those.
not allowed to pick that. My final one is the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. And I think I've definitely mentioned this before, but that was one of the gifts I was given when I was like a newborn. So I've got a full box set that is just as old as I am. Yeah, and I just remember like my dad read these to me growing up, and then he read them to my sister, and so I kind of reheard them, and then I reread them when I was old enough to read by myself. And then there was a BBC series that they did, like a mini series for a while that covered just a couple of the books. There was like 3 of the books I did, I think. And then the more recent movies as well. So, yes, but the books... And because they're really small, you can like easily read them in like an hour now, probably. Like they're that small, and the writing's quite big, and there are little pictures and things in them, in the versions I have anyway. Yeah, so I just remember reading the Narnia series like often as a kid, and it being part of all the things I read. That was a thing on my shelf, like your Animal Ark. Why do you look so upset?
I'm sorry, you reminded me of something, and then I googled it, and now I'm just looking at all... Oh, Dick King-Smith books. Smith books. He wrote Babe. But he also did like Saddle Bottom. Is it the Merman?
Yeah.
Basically, I had a box set as a kid, and I totally forgot it existed, and I actually still own this.
Nice.
I didn't get rid of it in my thing. And there was the like How Green Is Your Mouse?
Cute. Yes.
Ice, The Very Important Pig. I enjoyed this as well. I'm really good at my favourite one in the box set that I have. I either lost it or it was a second-hand box set and it wasn't in the box set.
Oh no.
Because I'm pretty sure it was one of the mouse ones. It might have been How Green Is Your Mouse, but yeah, basically I really enjoyed them. And they were like tiny. They're like for like kids. I studied Saddle Bottom, I think. I can't remember what year it would have been. It would have been younger than the Suitcase Kid, so it would have been like probably like year 2, year 3.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, The Water Horse.
Oh yeah. See, I never read that one, but my sister did The Water Horse, I think. At school.
Yeah. I think the only one I studied at school was Saddle Bottom. Well, I say studied, it's not really
very
like,
loosely.
Yeah. Like basically we just read it.
You just read it and then probably like drew a picture about it or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Merman. Is the Merman. Yeah. So that is my main shout out.
I have quite a few shout outs, and they're mostly... Okay, no, I've got 2 like book specifics, and that is The Giver by Lois Lowry, and that became a movie recently as well, and it was then Charlotte's Web by E.B. White.
Yes, I didn't read the book, but I think I only read the movie a lot.
Yes, I used to watch a movie a lot too. Yeah, but then so I read those maybe once or twice as a kid, but I just that just kind of reminds me like this sort of topic. I'm like, oh yeah, Charlotte's Web and The Giver. But the other ones, Anne of Green Gables series, and I didn't read all of them, but I do remember reading at least one or two.
Anne of Green Gables is actually one of my favorite books, but I actually didn't I didn't read them until I was probably after 14.
Okay, yeah. I probably read Anne of Green Gables like just as I was kind of maybe 13.
So I feel like they're aimed at younger, but I feel like a lot of people don't actually get round to them until
they're a bit older. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then The Saddle Club by Bonnie Bryant. Oh my goodness. I never
read any of those, but I know how.
Goodness. I used to have so many of these books, and my sister read them as well because she was actually a horse fan. Like we had a neighbor who had a horse, and she would go horse riding, and she got the helmet and the boots and whatever. And I just liked the books. And I remember there was like one or two, I can't remember what they were called, but they were like my all-time favorite ones. And so I read so many of those Saddle Club books. And then the other ones that I read heaps of, like as a kid, were Enid Blyton books. Basically anything by Enid Blyton, like Secret 7, Famous 5, Adventurous 4, Magic Faraway Tree, The Wishing Chair, St. Clair's. There's probably more.
Now I just have the Famous 5 song stuck in my head. We are the Famous 5. Julian, Dick and Anne, George and Tammy the dog.
I feel like there's way too much singing in this podcast for it to be like a book podcast.
We don't sing that much.
We do nearly every single episode, whether I keep it in or not. And my other
Please don't keep that in.
Yeah, I'm going to. The other shout-outs are just everything by Roald Dahl. Like Matilda, The Twits, James and the Giant Peach, Fantastic Mr. Fox, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, obviously, and like the BFG. But there were a couple that we used to go on like lots of road trips as kids. Obviously, with my parents, we just didn't just head off by ourselves. And so we would listen to the audiobooks of James and the Giant Peach and Fantastic Mr. Fox. So I have listened to the audiobooks of those several times. And I think that's
I remember one of my mum's favourite books is Danny the Champion of the World, so I remember her reading it to me a lot. But I don't remember reading a lot of his books as a kid. Yeah. It's more like when I was older.
Yeah.
I watched like the movies and stuff. Like I watched Matilda a lot. I've watched the BFG a lot. Obviously Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but I didn't actually read a lot of the books until later. But now I own quite a few of them.
Yeah, so do I. They were doing like a special at one of the bookstores one day, and I just bought like so many of them. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like 3 books for $20 or something.
Yeah, I feel like I got the same deal.
Yeah.
But I only got 3.
No, I think I bought 9. I was like, it's never going to get this good again. Just get them all.
It never did. It never did.
No, it never did. So, yeah.
I swear there's so many more that I just can't think of.
Yeah.
But I know, like the Louise Renison, Angus Thongs and Perfect and Frontal Snogging, like that series. I don't remember if that was like pre-13 or after 13. I feel like it's aimed at after 13, but I don't know if I actually read it. But yeah.
I've just thought of another series as well. Artemis Fowl. But then also the Beyond the Deep Woods series. And I think I've mentioned this before by... dang it. Paul Stewart and Chris Riddell. And Chris Riddell is the illustrator, and he does the recent Tales of the Beetle, the Bard illustrated version, which we talked about before. But that series was really cool as well, and I have, I think, all but one book, and I've reread those ones as well. They were really cool.
Yeah. Fun fact, Nick Sharratt, who illustrates Jacqueline Wilson books, is one of the reasons why I wanted to become some kind of creative person.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just really liked his, like all the covers and stuff. I just really loved them. And I tried to copy them a lot when I was a kid.
Yes, I think, now that you mention it, I think, because I used to do a lot of drawing and stuff, less than I do now, but I remember liking his style as well, and like trying to copy it, or just like tracing the pictures and things like that of those books. Because he does other
and-
books as well,
yeah.
eh?
I feel like yes, but
Nick
I could not name one.
Yeah, he's definitely got that style, eh? He's very, very him.
He's got a pretty distinct style, but
Yeah.
yep, he is to thank for my creativity.
Oh,
Well, not
thanks,
just him,
Nick.
but
Yeah. One of the
mostly him.
reasons.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick.
If you ever die and want someone to take over your book illustrating, hit me up.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't hit me up because you're dead, but
Get someone else to hit you up. It's fine.
who else is going to illustrate Jacqueline Wilson's 200 of the books?
Yeah, right? She's got a lot of writing to do.
Yeah, you probably need a helper anyway if you're going to illustrate not that many books, really. Although it probably takes longer to write a book than it does to illustrate a book. But who knows?
Who knows?
Jacqueline Wilson may, just tap on the thing and she gets a new book.
Maybe. That's how Cassandra Clare does it, I tell you. So tell us, what are your favourite books from your childhood? Do any of the books we've talked about in this episode bring back some nostalgia? You can let us know on Twitter at Rants and Reviews and Instagram at Rants and Reviews Pod. And now you can find us on our brand new blog. Just Google Rants and Reviews Podcast and you should find us. On the blog, you'll find show notes to this episode and all of our past episodes. You'll also find links to all our social media and a little bit more about us. Until we chat to you next time, happy reading.